Hello everybody and welcome to today's webinar. My name's Calvin and I will be your host and presenter for today's session, which is all about report selections and custom report settings. Alongside me, I do have Duncan in the background who'll be available to answer any questions that you guys might have throughout the session. So please feel free to ask any questions whilst we go through today. So firstly, we're going to have a look at report selections. So what is a report selection and how would you go about setting those up? We'll then move on to the custom report settings, which is, again, looking at what they are and how you would go about using them. We do have a little bit of a quiz at the end as well. So there's 3 questions, which are all about the stuff we'll be covering today. Completely optional if you'd like to get involved with that, and it's completely anonymous as well. It's more of a bit of interactivity for you guys as well. And then we'll finish off with further support. And of course, if we have any time remaining in the half an hour, we'll spend that answering any remaining questions. So let's get things started. Let's have a look at report selections first of all. So what is a report selection? So a report selection will allow you to run multiple reports all as one. So you can fully customize the selection as well. So you can add all the reports that you wish to have in there. So it's up to you. Then you can print or save the file as one single document with all the reports in it, or if you prefer, you can print or save it as separate documents from the window, which we will have a look at in a moment. Now, before we dive into it further though, so that's what report selections are. I do just want to run a quick poll just to get a bit of an idea. And it's all about how many reports do you typically run during a pay run. So we'll launch that now. So there we go. So we've got less than 5. Do you run less than 5 doing a pay run, between 5 and 10, or more than 10? So you should see an option on your screen. Simply click on the option and hit submit. Now this feature will be used for the quiz a little bit later on, so that helps you get a bit familiar with it as well, I suppose, but it is just a bit of insight. So we'll leave it up for about a minute and then we'll move on with the presentation. Okay, so we'll leave it on for about 15 more seconds and like I say, we'll move on. Okay, so we've had that on for a minute now. So let's just close. Let's share the results as well. So you can see that we have a majority in today that roughly run between 5 and 10 reports per pay run. A couple of you run more than 10, and there's a few that have less than 5. So a bit of a mixed bag there today, so that's lovely to see. So let's go back to our presentation. So as I mentioned, the reports selection allows you to run multiple reports at once. So for those of you who are running reports more than 10 times in a single pay run, or more than 10 different reports in a single pay run, then this is going to be a really big time saver for you as well. So we've got a couple of screenshots of how you would go about setting it up, and we will be jumping into a demo. So you can see there, it's a part of the reports window. Now you can do this for both pre-update and post-update reports. So it's not just for a single set. So it is either pre-update or post-update. So it's completely up to you. You can set them up for both, or you can set it up just for one. So what we'll do now, let's jump into the demonstration and we'll have a quick look at how you go about setting one up as a live demo. So here we are in Sage 50 Payroll. We're going to do it with post-update reports, but the process is exactly the same for pre-update, just so you know. So we've got the screenshots on the handout for pre-update, so we're going to dive in and do one for post-update. So we can find our reports at the top here. So if I click on reports, that brings us up our report window. You do have an option at the bottom here for report selections. So if we click on that, you can see we've already created one, but I'm going to create a brand new one today. So if you would like to edit a current selection, you would highlight your selection, click edit. We're going to click new because I want to create a new report selection, and this window will appear. Now this is where we can give it a name. So I'm going to call it webinar demo. You can give it a quick description as well. So again, this is completely up to you how you would like this to, what you would like to call it or what you would like to describe it as. We'll just give that a quick description like that. And now we will be choosing our reports. You can see on the left-hand side, it mirrors the selections you have here. So you've got employee, company, legislation, period, end, similar to this. And if I expand the year end, it's exactly the same all the way down to the bottom. We're going to use some of the more common reports. Now remember, this is completely up to you which reports you want to add. So I'm going to go down in the employee and we're going to use the payment summaries. So we're going to do part 1 by payment summary histories, part 1 by employee, part 2 by employee. We're also going to add in the pensions payments report. And let's have a quick look. Employee details and attachments, why not? So I'm going to use those 4 reports. Now remember, it's completely flexible. It doesn't have to be these 4. It's up to you. We're just using 3 of the more common ones and a random one that I've just chosen at random at the top there. Now you'll notice that we started with the payment summaries and then the pensions payments, but the employee details, which we added last, is now at the top of the list. So you can't change the order of the report selection. You can only add them. They will always be in alphabetical order based on the name of the report. Okay, so you can't change the order. You'll see it doesn't matter too much, but you can't change the order with report selections. It's always alphabetical. So once you've added the reports that you wish to have, click save. Then you can close it. And there we have our report selection has appeared. So you can see we have the name and the description. So what we'll do, let's preview it. We will get the criteria window appear. There it is. Now this will be the criteria for all the separate reports that you've added. Now it can vary depending on which reports you've added. We're just going to leave that as default. Click OK. And if I expand this, this is our report. If you have a look across the top, so we've got our employee details. We have our payment summary. And then part 2, our pensions payments. So you have separate tabs across the top here for each report. So you can simply view them all in a single document. Now, as I mentioned, you can either print or export these as separate files or a single file if you wish. So if you, for example, if you've got to run specific reports for an accountant, is usually a good example, then you can create a report selection for the reports that they've asked for, export that as a single file, attach it to an email and send it to your accountant. Saves you having to export different files. So as I mentioned, for those of you who are using more than 10 reports per pay run, you'll see how easy it is there. Once you've set it up, you can click preview once and it pulls off all the reports. It's going to save you at least 10 minutes per pay run of your time. To print, you can see here we've got print the current report. So that's the one tab that I'm in, which is currently the pensions payments. You can print them all as a single job or as individual jobs. So that's how it goes to the reporter, the printer, and then export current report, the one in the tab, or all as a single document. So you see you have those options there. And that is the report selections. So as you can see, nice and quick, nice and easy to set up, but a brilliant feature to save you a lot of time in running those reports. As I mentioned, it can be done not just for post-update, which is what we did the demo, it can be done for pre-update reports as well, which is what you see on the screenshots here. So that's report selections. Now we're going to have a little look at custom report settings. So what are custom report settings? So you can use this to choose the order in which individual pay elements appear on some of the pre-update reports. This will save you the need to have any reports redesigned. And it's perfect to use if you've got a lot of payments and departments, And you can choose the order of up to 30 payments and deductions, 10 loans, and 13 different types of attachments. So please bear in mind though, that's the maximum for the custom report selection, but if the report that you're wanting to run can only hold 10 payments, for example, it'll just be the top 10 in the list of the report setting that you'll be creating. So it is report specific, but you can do up to 30 payments and deductions, 10 loans, and 13 different types of attachments. So how do you set it up? Here's a couple of screenshots, and again, we'll be diving into a demonstration for you as well. So we've got a couple there where we've got two departments, the floor staff and the back office, who all have different types of payments. And there you'll see on the right hand side is where you'll be selecting, ordering those payments. So what we'll do, let's jump into the program now, and we'll have a look at setting up a custom report setting. So this isn't amending a report specifically, but it is allowing you to have a little bit of creative freedom over which payments appear on certain reports. And as I mentioned, it is only on certain reports, and they're all pre-update reports. So what we're going to do, let's go set up a report selection. So we're going to click tasks at the very top here. We're then going to scroll down to company. We're then going to go across and down to custom reports. And there is the first window there. So as you can see, we've set one up for Duncan already, who requires specific payments on a report. But what we'll do, we'll create a new one. Before we do that, it's quite small, so hopefully you can see this on your screen. But you see the star where my mouse is hovering, or the asterisk that's next to the 0 there. That's showing you which report setting is currently in use. Okay, now if you want to change it, drop down here. You can see the star then changes. So if I go back to the default, the star moves up and down. So it's just a quick way of seeing which current report setting is in use. Of course, you can just see what's in the bar at the top. So let's click new. We'll give this a description. We'll call it webinar demo again. Then you've got these tabs across the top. So you've got your payments, you've got your deductions, your loans, and of course, your attachments. So if we click on payments, see we have in order there. If we click the drop down, you can see the pay elements we currently have. So for this one, we only want to include commission and overtime. Same would apply for deductions. So if I include a sickness deduction there, and again, loans, we don't have any loans set up, and all of the attachments are built in. It's not something you set up, but you can order them the way that you wish to. You can as well, if you wish to. So if I click default, it will order them automatically. So if you look at the drop down, you'll see there's always the references all the way down. It will add them in based on the reference. But of course, if you wish to start again, you can click clear or F8 on your keyboard, which will delete a single item. So that line has now been deleted. If we do that, and then we move the 1971 non-priority to line 5, there you go. You can see that's how you would swap them around if you wish to. Once you're done, click OK. There you can see we have it. So that is your report selection. So what we're going to do, we're going to highlight webinar demo. We're going to use that one. We're going to click OK. Then we're going to dive into reports. And we're going to look at analysis of payroll totals. So if I click on the preview, because this is one of the reports that it impacts, the link on the handout in this particular section does have a list of which reports. So if you're curious, download the handout and you can follow that link. And as you can see there, we have our report. And in the payments, we only have 2, which is commission and overtime, which is what we've added. And we only have our sickness on the right-hand side. So anything that's blank in that custom report setting will appear as unused in the report. So if you're ever curious as to why you see unused on some reports, it's because of those custom report settings. As you can see as well, from this particular report, there's not 30 payments and there's not 30 deductions on this particular report, which means if you added 30 payments, it will just add them up until this line, and then anything after that will not appear on the report. That's where you then need to contact us to see about having a new report designed for you, which of course does carry an extra cost. But if you do want a custom report, such as additional payments added, that is the route that you have to go down. That's what I mean by you can do up to 30, but it is report dependent, okay? So there is an example. So what we'll do, let's just close that actually, and we'll go back to tasks. We'll go into company again, remember down to custom reports. Let's change it to the default and click OK. We'll go back to our pre-update reports. We'll run the same report for the same period and the same employees. If we open that up, you can see we have all of our payments that are set up with the default. So you've got your salary, your cost of net payments, your overtime, your commission, and your expenses, which is how we have it set up. Now you may have a lot more than that, or even some might have less, but it's just illustrating how the custom report setting has affected the way that the report is run and what information you've seen on there. So it's great for departments to run this particular report, for example, for separate departments to show you different payments. It's up to you how you wish to use it, but it's a really good feature to give you a little bit more customization in the payments that you see on some reports. So that's custom report settings. It's a nice and short session today, but yeah, that is the custom report settings and the report selections. Hopefully both of those will allow you a bit more flexibility, and the report selections will save you a lot of time. As promised, it's now time for the quiz. So we do have 3 questions. We'll be running them via the polls that we showed you earlier, And again, it's completely voluntary and all answers are completely anonymous as well. We'll share the results, but you'll only see it as a percentage the same way you saw it earlier. So let's move on to the first question. We will leave them up for just a minute or so to allow people to answer, then we'll go through. So the first one is, can you change the order the reports run in the report selections? So let's bring up that one now. So it's a yes or no question. Can you change the order the reports run in the report selections part? So again, we will leave this on for a minute. You can, of course, still ask any questions that you might have whilst this is going on, so please feel free to pop those in on the right-hand side. And like I said, we'll leave it on for about 30 more seconds. Okay, so we've got about 15 more seconds there, and then we'll close this one down and we'll share the results. Okay, so that's the minute up. Let's close it and share it. 80% of you got it right. So well done for that one. So yes, you can't change the order the reports run in the report selection. Remember, it's always alphabetical, and they appear as tabs across the top of the report. It's the report file that generates anyway. So report selections, you can't change the order. It will always be in alphabetical order. Okay, so that's question 1. Let's move on to question 2. So what appears on the report if you have a blank line in your custom report settings? So again, we'll bring that up. So we've got 3 options for this one. We have a blank line, we have unused will appear, or N/A or not applicable. So one of those 3 will appear on the report if you have a blank line in your custom report settings. So again, we'll leave this on for about a minute, then we'll close that down. whilst we're waiting for that minute as well, a good time now just to quickly remind you, we do run webinars regularly through every week. So we've got 2 per week. We have had 3 this week, but we have one tomorrow, which is all about the IR Secure mailbox, which is what Duncan will be hosting. So if you need to, we'll be showing you a little bit later on how to access that, and you can join us for that session if you wish to. It'll be at the same time as it is today, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It's all about the IR Secure mailbox with Duncan. Okay, so we've got a couple of seconds left, then we'll close this one down. Okay, that's the minute up. So let's close and again, share the results. So it's another 80% have got it right again. So 80%, it is unused. So if you remember, we ran that report and there was a lot of unused on the report itself. That's because there are blank lines in the custom report settings. Okay, now time to move on to the third and final question, which is how many pay elements can you add in a custom report settings? So how many pay elements can you add in a custom report settings? So let's launch that one. So we're looking at pay elements. Okay, so is it 10? Is it 20 or is it 30? Now these 3 answers are all up to figures. So is it up to 10, up to 20, or up to 30? So it's payments and deductions, worded slightly different than it is on the slide, but payments and deductions can you add in a custom report setting? Up to 10, up to 20, or up to 30. Again, we'll leave this on for a minute, which means you've got about 30 seconds left. Okay, we're at the 10 seconds left mark, then we'll close that one down as well. Okay, that's the minute up, so let's close and share that one. 60% this time, but 60% again got it right. So the majority getting it right in every single question. So well done to you all for that one. I maybe need to make these quizzes potentially a little bit harder or more challenging for the next ones, who knows. But yes, it is up to 30 payments and deductions can be added to a report selection. Not report selection, sorry, a custom report settings. So up to 30 payments for the custom report settings. But please bear in mind, it's still dependent on how many payments and deductions the report can preview. So it is report dependent as well. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's short session. I do want to run through some further support you have available to you as well. And then, like I say, we'll spend the last 5 minutes or 4 minutes now answering any remaining questions you have. So don't forget to get them in the chat now. So the first thing is the Help Center. So you have access to a library of knowledge base articles. So you can search our knowledge base at sage.co.uk/help. You can access support guides here. This is where you can find webinars as well. So I mentioned we've got tomorrow's session on. So you can see webinars in the top right-hand corner of that website. This is a clickable link on the handout as well. So if you are downloading that, you can just click that link. You can find videos here and of course the get in touch options if you do need to speak to us. You can also access our Help Center by pressing F1 on your keyboard when you are in the program. So you can get access to that Help Center and all that support directly from in the program now as well, just by clicking on F1. And last, but certainly not least, Sage University. So Sage University is where you can go to expand your Sage Payroll learning, or if you've got Sage 50 accounts or Sage Business Cloud, you can go to Sage U for all of the training that you need, and it's all free as well. So if you head on over to sageu.com, you can find access to free e-learning, to free Sage certifications as well, and some bite-sized learning. And these can all be done at your own time and in your own pace as well. Or at your own pace in your own time. I always get those two mixed up. But it is a really, really good resource. Some of the courses in Sage University are some that we have to complete through our training as well. So you'll be experiencing similar training to what we get. So I really do highly recommend visiting this if you do get a chance. And I do know time is always of the essence in the world of payroll. So that is Sage University. And that does bring us to the close. We have about 3 minutes now that we'll spend answering any remaining questions that you may have as well. If you are leaving us at this point, thank you so much for attending today. I hope you've enjoyed it and hope those 2 little features that we've run through will make it easier for you running payroll and of course save you a bit of time as well. When you do leave the session or the session comes to a close, you will be directed to a short feedback survey. Now, both Duncan and myself really value this feedback that you give us. We can't make changes and we can't add new features such as the quiz in without that feedback from you guys. So it does mean a lot to both of us, and we do read it quite religiously and try to make changes as best we can based on the feedback that you give us. So thank you so much in advance for just spending about 30 seconds filling that in. Thank you. I'm going to jump on mute, help out with any questions that may come through, and then I'll be back on at past to say our final goodbyes. Thank you. Okay, we have reached that half-hour mark and I can see all of the questions were answered. So thank you so much. All that's left for me to say then is thank you again for attending. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're all looking after yourselves out there, staying safe, and hopefully we'll see you in another webinar in the future. That's everything from me. So thank you and look after yourselves, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.